Ed McBain, 87th Precinct, Early Paperback Originals. Hi, I'm Gary Lovisi, editor of Paperback Parade and publisher of Gryphon Books, with the latest installment on our vintage paperback, collectible paperbacks, foray into all kinds of magical, wonderful things from here in the secret, undisclosed paperback vault. Today we're going to talk about Salvatore Lombino. Now, who was that? Well, that was actually the fellow that went by the name of Evan Hunter and who wrote under the name of Ed McBain. Salvatore Lombino actually had a few early pulp stories published in the late 1940s. In 1952, he changed his name to the now famous, well-known Evan Hunter, and that was his legal name. And then he wrote under many pseudonyms. One of the most famous was Ed McBain, where he told the stories of Detective Steve Carella and other detectives at the 87th Precinct in Manhattan. That was a made-up precinct that doesn't exist, but he chronicled the adventures of Carella and the 87th Precinct detectives in 7 books that came out from Herma Books in the United States as paperback originals. These are the true first editions, and they're pretty scarce and they're pretty cool. The books start off with Cop Hater. Cop Hater was put it over here. Cop Hater was Perma M3037 from 1956. Cover art by Daniel Rubin. And my copies, you can see, is signed by Ed McBain, signed by Evan Hunter as Ed McBain. Evan Hunter was an interesting fellow. He published a lot of stories under various pseudonyms. Ed McBain was a very popular one that he did with the 87th Precinct. He also wrote for Manhunt as Evan Hunter, as William Marsden, and many other names. He even wrote Sleaze and Porn in the early 60s as Dean Hudson, which we'll get to at another time. But here we're going to take a look at the 87th Precinct books. Cop Hater is the first book. It's the story of a cop killer, and it's a great opening to the series. It was reprinted in 1962, and basically to tie in with the NBC TV show. That it's amazing that this was actually a TV show. I don't know, I've never seen it, but it was an NBC TV show in the 50s at the 87th Precinct. The second book in the series, The Mugger, is Perma 3061 from 1956. Lou Marchetti did the cover. In this one, the police hunt down a mugger killer of women. It's great cover art by Marchetti, 25-cent cover price. These are really great books. These are paperback originals. The first 7 Ed McBain 87th Precinct books were paperback originals, first editions. They're scarce, they're really cool, and very collectible. The third book in the series was The Pusher. Pusher was M3062, 1956. Charles Binger did the cover art. Really brutal cover art. The cops come in and they see a guy who's hung himself. And it's a story of, inside story of the dope traffic. Wild story. It's, the fourth book in the series was The Con Man. Con Man was Perma M3055 from 1957. James Meese did the cover art on this one. Meese was a terrific artist. It's a woman killer who taunts police. All of these are really intense police procedurals, hard-boiled, tough cops, who go after the criminals, and they're really very well done books. Next book, Killer's Choice. That's number 5 in the series. Perma number M3108 from December 1957. Robert Schultz did the cover art. Schultz was a great artist. He did a lot of science fiction covers, but his noir and crime stuff is really, really good. In this one, it's Steve Carella is up against a mysterious woman who's deadly dangerous, and he has to try to find out what her game is. Number 6 in the series, Killer's Payoff, Perma M3113, April 1958. Again, Robert Schultz did the cover art. And this is a blackmail and a double murder mystery. And the 7th and final book in the series as far as the paperback originals, and this one that I have is really bad shape, but it's a tough one to find, is Lady Killer. And that's Perma M3119, 1958. Charles Binger did the cover. And this Detective Cotton Hawks, one of the detectives at 87th Precinct, hunts down a compulsive killer. And there you have the 7 paperback originals by Ed McBain, alias Evan Hunter. When he started out, his books came out as paperback originals. They were not hardcovers. Later on, there would be many, many more 87th Precinct novels and many more books by Evan Hunter, but they would be hardcover first editions. But these 7 are the paperback originals. First came out about the time, a little after the time when he started writing for Manhunt. Manhunt he started writing in about 1953, 54. Sometimes he would write a whole issue under 3 or 4, 5 different names and short stories. And then he decided to start a series of his own, and he started with Steve Carella in the 87th Precinct. So there you have the 7 books in that series. They're pretty tough to come by. They're still great reads. He was a master storyteller, a pulp adventure writer who also understood the cops and did the police procedural the proper way. 87th Precinct novels are still well respected today by readers and even cops and fans who know that this is quality writing and good stuff. So just wanted to clue you in onto those. Some interesting, good books. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up and give us a like and subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe. All you have to do is sign up, and if you do that, you'll help me to get able to do more of these kind of excursions into rare books and paperbacks, vintage paperbacks, collectible books, and all kinds of stuff like that. So just wanted to thank you for looking, and I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.